Stan Van Gundy in with us. We will get to his basketball nugget in about 5 minutes. But I'm curious what you think, Stan, about some NBA franchises considering dropping the term owner from the day-to-day vernacular, calling the idea of an owner of players and teams insensitive. Is it too politically correct in a racially charged time, or is it the right way to go?
Yeah, it is the right way to go. I don't think there's any downside in going that way. I know people scream political correctness, but the fact is that in most businesses, we don't refer to the person in charge as the owner. You may get founder of the business, you get CEO, chairman of the board, whatever it is, but we don't call them owners. And in sports, it does. I don't know what the history is of making that reference, but I do think it reflects badly. Draymond Green was the first one to bring this up. Since your main assets are not money or products, they're people, I think the connotation of saying somebody is the owner doesn't sit too well with the players and with a lot of people. And what's the downside to making the change and not referring to them as owners anymore? I mean, to me, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you offend fewer people, why wouldn't you make the move?
Important discussion. I'm glad we're having it.
Would you say what to people who are saying, oh, that's overly sensitive?
Well, listen, I mean, the people who say that are not the people being affected or offended. And so, and that's in all cases, not just this one. And so to me, what most people call political correctness simply means we're not going to use offensive language or language that's offensive to some people. And when we can make those corrections, why wouldn't we? If people are offended by them, why wouldn't we make that change wherever it's reasonably possible? And certainly it is in this case. I don't understand that. I wouldn't call it political correctness. I'd call it civility, sensitivity, whatever. I mean, good terms.
Because white people don't want the slightest inconvenience. Because when you come from privilege, anything that sounds like equality can sound like oppression.
Yeah, well, there's no question about that. And also, let's face it, I mean, they want that feeling of power, owner. I own these people. I mean, they want that feeling of power. And there's no other reason. I mean, you can call them the CEO. You can call them whatever you want. Adam Silver said they refer to the people as governors, which they do. Their ruling body basically is the Board of Governors. So however you want to refer to them, I think anybody who's objecting to this wants the title of owner to be used for the exact reasons that Draymond Green and others want it used.
Happy 52nd birthday by way of transition for Paul Giamatti.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
That's stunning.
He's only 52.
I thought he was 82.
No, he's not 82, and his show is really good. Billions, that's a good show.
Yeah, it's really good. I thought he was 82 like 15 years ago.
Has he been 52 for 30 years?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Has Paul Giamatti been 52 for 52 years? Let's do Stan Van Gundy.
He was born with that beard.
And the bald spot. Let's do Stan Van Gundy's basketball nuggets in your face.
And now, time for Stan Van Gundy's top NBA nuggets on a Thursday show. Thingy.
You got to be able to act when you look like Giamatti and Buscemi, and you can be a legitimate star.
That's a mean thing to say, Dan.
Oh. Is it a mean thing to say?
It kind of is, but I mean, I get your larger point.
Like, you guys haven't noticed that Giamatti and Buscemi don't look like classic movie star idols?
Roy, in Dan's defense, okay, like Brad Pitt, the reason Brad Pitt became a major movie star is because he was shirtless in Thelma and Louise. That doesn't work for Giamatti.
That's true.
I don't think Giamatti's in Buscemi. I'm with you on Buscemi. I think Giamatti, decent looking.
Really?
Really?
Okay, that's very kind of you.
Wow.
What is the theme of the Nuggets here, Stan?
Well, getting aside from all the injuries, it's how the rosters of these two finals teams were built very differently.
All right. The third best nugget from Stan Van Gundy after Game 3 of the finals. Toronto leads 2-1 is?
Well, Kevin Durant's signing was obviously huge for the Warriors. They have relied heavily on homegrown stars, including 3 of their own all-star starters. Toronto has only 1 homegrown starter and only 3 homegrown players in their rotation. All totaled, Golden State got 262 regular season starts from players they had drafted. Toronto, only 129.
The second best Stan Van Gundy nugget is?
The Warriors have relied on continuity. 4 starters returned this year for the Warriors, and the Warriors have only seen 4 starters returned, and the Warriors have only seen 576 minutes played in the playoffs by new additions to their roster. Meanwhile, the Raptors have 3 new players in their starting lineup. Each of them has played more playoff minutes than the roster's new players combined, and they have a total of 2,068 playoff minutes.
You really powered through that, Stan. You got that hiccup.
I messed
Quite
that
the tongue
up.
twister.
All right, that's all right. We will isolate that sound and we will play it mercilessly.
Yes,
at your
I'm sure you will, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
I heard the frustration.
Yes, I saw him. He got mad at himself.
I did, yes.
And the bet, because he likes them to be clean, and they're always clean.
Well, he also knew what we were going to do with it
The
afterwards.
nuggets are so clean, and the number one best nugget from professional broadcaster Stan Van Gundy is?
The Warriors are a team of stars, while Toronto has been a team of underdogs. The Warriors have 7 lottery picks in their rotation. Toronto, none. Kawhi at 15 was the only top 20 pick on the Raptors, and Danny Green is the only notable non-first round starter for Draymond Green. God, I'm struggling today. Draymond Green is the only notable non-first round starter for the Warriors. Toronto starts 2 second-round picks, and their leading scorer off the bench was undrafted.
What happened, Mike? Why are you making those faces? You're down on Stan Van
No,
Gundy?
you just hate to see it. To see it happen.
Hate to hear it.
Especially during his benchmark segment.
Yeah, no, I know. It was a bad day. It's probably the worst day I've had. And I actually thought the Nuggets were decent, but man, my delivery was very poor.
Mike, we got the Danny Green game. You knew we were going to get the Danny Green game. Everyone knew we were going to get the Danny Green game at some point.
Let's talk about the Danny Green game after we relive Stan Van Gundy's flub.
4 starters returned this year for the Warriors, and the Warriors have only seen 4 starters returned.
Man,
I hate to see
that'll sit with you for days.
It
Sound like the record skipped on that.
The thing I like, and this is, I've got such great teammates here that, will just lift you up when things go badly.
Again.
4 starters returned.
Sounded worse the second.
I don't understand what he said. I'm still waiting to sort of, I was so distracted by how poor the delivery was that I retained none of the information.
Don Lebatard.
Why doesn't Bob Costas go by Robert? Because he strikes me as someone who's not a nickname guy. Like, I'm surprised he's not Robert middle initial Costas whenever he does reports.
Can you imagine if he were Bobby Costas?
No way.
Bob Costas definitely has group texts where his friends are like, Bobby, what are you doing this weekend?
No.
He hates that. Only the people that hate him call him Bobby.
Stugotz.
I can't even say his middle name is so fancy.
What is his middle name?
Robert Quinlan Costas.
Oh, that's exactly what
Go Q. You gotta go Q.
Robert Q. Costas.
Because Bob Q. Costas doesn't sound
in the group chat, they're calling him Bobby Q.
Bobby Q.
Or R. Quinlan Costas.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.